So our marketing budget's like 60, 70,000, right, a month. And so, and then you're looking to get, you want it to be a 1 to 4 ratio.
Yep.
So if we put 60K in, I want to get 240 out every month. Put 70K in, do the math type of thing. So if you're wondering what kind of metrics to look at with your marketing, 1 to 4 is the sweet spot. If you do better than that, it's awesome. But if you do worse than that, you got to make some.
For every dollar in.
That's it.
Okay.
You're listening to the AZREIA Show. If you're looking for quality real estate investing information that you can trust, you've found it. Stay tuned and join the tens of thousands of members that have already benefited from AZREIA, your home for education, market information, support, and networking opportunities that will advance your real estate investing career.
Hello, great state of Arizona and the Western Seaboard. Thank you for being here for another episode of the AZREIA Show. We are glad that you're here. So before we get started, what we want you to do is click that like button, click that subscribe button, because we're going to dig deep into some things today that you need to make sure you have your pens, pencils, and notepads ready today. So for those that are you on YouTube, I got my notepad here to take some notes, so you should be doing the same thing. So welcome to the show.
I was like, who has a notepad anymore? But all right, you got the iPad. That makes sense. Okay.
So welcome to the show today. We have our executive director, Mike Delpre.
Hello.
And then today we're going to be talking about wholesaling with Brent Daniels. If you guys don't know him, I don't know where you've been at, but just Google 3 letters, TTP, and you will find him.
Yep.
And he also the owner of Wholesale Inc. now, right?
That's right.
All right.
Yeah.
So you can't be the owner of Wholesale Inc. and not talk about wholesaling.
That's right.
So let's jump right into it.
Yeah.
Let's get busy. Let's go. So Brent.
Yeah.
Introduce us to you, man, for those who don't know.
I love it. Marcus, Mike, thank you. It's an honor to be on the AZREIA Show here. This is going to be a lot of fun. And I agree with you. I take notes on everything.
Yep.
And real notes, right? In a notebook. So
All right.
I'm not as tech advanced as Mike over here. But listen, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad in 2003. It was given to me by my best friend, and it changed my life. It put me on a totally different path. It's interesting. There's certain times in life, right? There's like you're a kid and then you turn 12 and then there's 13. You're kind of still a kid and then kind of maturing. And then you're a teenager and then you're graduating high school and you're trying to figure things out. And you're like, do I get into work? Do I go to college? Okay, you go to college. You get into work, whatever it is. And then once you're through that college or once you're at that work and you don't really like it, you're looking for something else. You're looking for a different path or whatever. And that was the crossroads that I was at. And that was the perfect time for Rich Dad Poor Dad to come into my life, and then that spun off into Think and Grow Rich, and it spun off into Cash Flow Quadrant, it spun off the E-Myth, and all these other books, right? And I didn't really understand it. I didn't understand what business was. I didn't understand what providing value was. I didn't understand how to go out and make money. I didn't understand any of it, right? So I was like, okay, I guess the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to get a real estate license, because it's 2004 now. You have to get a license to do anything in real estate. There's no AZREIA podcast. There's no YouTube. There's no AZREIA was around, and I went to that, but that was like once a month and a couple different things that you can join. And it just wasn't like, here's exactly what you got to go do. So I got a license and started in that journey. And then in 2013, I discovered what wholesaling was. I discovered, because I kept finding great opportunities for other investors, and I would go to the closing table and look at the settlement statement, which we used to call HUD-1s.
Yes.
And now they're settlement statements. And at the bottom, at the top wouldn't have the investor that I was working with, had a different investor. And down at the very bottom of that sheet, out of all the escrow costs and loan payoffs and commissions, had this line that said assignment fee. And I was like, what is that? And I'm like, are you buying this property? He goes, no, I sold it. What do you mean you sold the property? I just sold it to you. You don't even own it yet. What do you mean you sold the property? He goes, no. I sold the contract. And that is when my life changed forever. That's when I realized that if you find opportunities, people will pay you for those opportunities. You don't need to have great credit. My credit score at the time was like the worst it could be. I had foreclosed on 5 properties. I had gotten 2 cars repoed. I gave back like 5 credit cards. It was a mess, an absolute mess, right? But all of a sudden now I'm getting checks for $10,000, $12,000, and then $42,000, and I'm like, this is bananas. This is the greatest business of all time. And since then, I've tried to have the biggest megaphone possible and encourage people to go out and find great opportunities. And I think for people that want to be real estate entrepreneurs, I think it's like the first step is to be able to source really great opportunities, and you can sell those really great opportunities to people that are a few steps ahead of you in the process, or maybe just have a different strategy. And I think it's the best business ever.
Yeah.
It's the best business ever.
So let's talk about that dichotomy, right? Because you were a real estate agent and then you got the wholesaler. And a lot of people had that misperception. Well, they used to that real estate agents don't like wholesalers and wholesalers don't like real estate agents. So when you start seeing these assignment agreements and you were a real estate agent and those assignment agreements were bigger than your commissions, what was that thought process, right? I know you wanted to dive into wholesaling, but was it, should I keep my license? Should I not keep my license? Because, it's always a chicken or the egg thing. Should I get my license? Should I not get my license? Kind of expound on that for us, Dan.
Well, I got my license to be an investor. I think a lot of people get their license to be an investor. I think there's certain people that want to represent people as an agent, but I've been around a lot of agents for a long time. They get real tired of being an agent. They get real tired of applying for the job of helping people buy or sell houses. They need some sort of retirement plan. They need some sort of bigger vision, bigger business that they can grow. And most of the time, real estate agents kind of build mini brokerages, which they call teams, but it's just mini brokerages, and try to get other people to do the deals and get a slice of their deals. And that's kind of their way of building a system out of it. And I went that route, but it just wasn't fulfilling. I'm a deal junkie. I love finding opportunities. So I think that seed was always planted in me, Marcus. Okay. And it was one of those things where it wasn't, I never had friction from agents. I never had agents that were mad at what we were making versus what they were making because we got the deal done. It was very smooth. It was really, I spoke the language because I was in the business for a while. And I just made sure that the offer that we made was going to close. Yep. And so I think you run into a lot of issues with agents when you put in offers with them and you don't know if it's a deal. Right. And that's what you see a lot of people getting started do, because I think one of the first hurdles is this a deal or not a deal? And when you're starting out, you don't really know. That's why having a mentor or having somebody that can help you like kind of audit and look at the deal and do the underwriting of the deal is really important. And so, if you're new, make sure that you have somebody that you can rely on that can look at a deal and say, yeah, that's a great deal.
So going back to the agent question, so for those people that are new, should I get my license or not? Because like you said, you went into it because there wasn't enough information out there. Now that all the information's out there, it's right. You're hearing it right now. So should they get their license?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, I still listen. Do you have to know? When you ask that question, in my mind, I feel like it gives some people listening to this and watching this a little bit of a stiff arm from taking massive imperfect action out there and talking to property owners, because they go, oh, wait. Let me get my license first. Yes, and then they get stuck in the education loop because it makes you feel good, but you're not going out there and doing anything that's going to change your life. Right. You're not going out there and finding any opportunities. So I think it's really good to go through, get it done, get the license just to have it. Just if for any reason, there's 2 states right now that require it, South Carolina and Illinois require a license to wholesale. Okay. Can that happen around the country? Maybe. Yeah. Maybe in the next 5-10 years, who knows? At this point, it's not, but I think it's a good thing to have.
I always like to say it's like that 90 hours worth of education you have to go get to get your license, the studying. I'd rather you see you writing offers.
Absolutely.
Right? Like if you took that 90 offers and just talked to homeowners and knocked on doors, you'd probably get a deal.
But it can be, it's not war. Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? You could be doing the school and studying while you're picking up the phone and calling somebody that has a rundown house, or knocking on their door, or sending them a handwritten note, or whatever you're going to do to have a conversation. Because that's what this whole business comes down to. I mean, I don't care if you're buy and hold, fix and flip, or you're wholesaling. It comes down to conversations and offers.
That's right.
That's it.
It is.
You have to have quality conversations with property owners, and you have to make offers. If you boil it down to just those two, you will win. It is impossible not to win if you just talk to enough people and make enough offers.
And I think one of the reasons why that don't happen, Brent and Mike, is because they don't have the confidence.
Sure.
Newer people, they don't have the confidence because they worried about what they don't know versus where can I get the information.
Right.
Because it's difficult. You know, when I first started, it was difficult to have that confidence to make an offer because I was like, for one, like you said, I don't know if this is a deal or if it's not. You know, how do I know what the rehab cost is? How do I know what the ARV is? Everything like that.
Yep.
So I think that lack of confidence is really what holds people back from really getting out there, putting in those offers like Mike said. But one of the things you said, Brent, was you got to take massive imperfect action. So Brent, you said that, you know, wholesaling comes down to, or real estate investing comes down to conversations and offers.
That's right.
So I know you're Mr. TTP.
Yeah.
How does somebody get over those fears of talking to people?
Yeah.
Because that's what you got to be able to do.
Well, listen, there's 4 parts to the conversation to make it a quality conversation with a property owner. All right. Number 1 is the condition of the property. What needs to be done to this property? Tell me, what remodeling have you done to the kitchen and bathrooms in the last 5 years, right? The longer that you can get the conversation going, the more comfortable they're going to be to open up and let you know exactly what's going on. They're going to be guarded. They're going to have their force field up. They're going to have their walls up. They're not going to, you're a stranger to them, right? And so they're going to be kind of standoffish. So you just kind of ease into the conversation. People are more comfortable talking about the condition of the property than they are their own emotions, right? So you start talking about the condition of the property, and then all of a sudden things start coming up. Oh, my tenant destroyed it. Or, oh, I've had it vacant. It's been broken into a bunch of times. It needs a lot of work. Or I just inherited the property from a family member. It's really dated. We don't have the money to fix it up. All of these things you're trying to like really figure out, okay, is this somebody that I can pre-qualify and do business with? That's all you're trying to understand. So the 4 pillars of pre-qualifying are the condition of the property, their timeline to sell this property, which is critical. Are they wanting to sell it right away? Or are they going to take some time? Do they want to get a bunch of different offers and look at them all? Like, what is happening? What's the motivation here? And that's the third part, motivation. What's their problem? So you got the condition, timeline, motivation, and then the price. So that's the 4 things. So if you go into any conversation, you're just starting out and you just write it down on a piece of paper, right? And you just go condition, timeline, motivation, price, and just ask questions about those 4. You can pre-qualify these property owners and see if they have the potential of doing business with you. So that took me a long time, Marcus, because I was like, okay, tell me about why are you selling? And they're like, because I want to sell.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. So how much do you want? They're like, you tell me. So it's like this like cat and mouse game where, you know, you're trying to get some information. They're trying to hide it and the whole thing. So if you just go in with the condition, timeline, motivation, price, typically they'll give you all those. And if you get those 4 things, then you know you got a quality lead.
And let's go into, so going back to the first one with the conversation and building a rapport and everything, I think, because like you said, I just want to sell. But I think if you go through your process that you explained, you'd notice that you could get a number out of them more likely.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the importance of also making the offer, even if they don't give you a number to work with or something. Because I remember one of the first deals I learned this on was a house on Chipman in South Phoenix years ago. And he was like a big business owner, renovated the house. He was like, just give me your offer. I don't want to play games. Let's just do that. Like, it was like, I was like, oh shit, he's serious, you know? So I was all nervous to give that low offer. So I gave him that, whatever it was, 55 cents on the dollar offer. And he was like, I'll do it. Then he sent, me and my wife are in wheelchairs. We both just got surgeries. So he tried to bluff, you know what I'm saying? Of course. But I stuck to the number and it worked. So that's always my story to say like how important getting that offer out is no matter what. Cause I know a lot of people are scared to do that offer. So what are your thoughts?
So what I like doing in that situation where you're trying to get the price, because that's the hardest one. Typically. Now, the best deals that we do, they just tell us, you give me $150,000 for this, and it is yours. I will sign yesterday. And you're like,
I don't know.
Let me think
is
about
that the best you can do?
Right.
Write it down. Is that
Yes.
the best
Yeah.
you can do? Right? You don't say yes. Is that the best you can do? Right? So if they're not giving you a price, what I like doing, again, 55 cents on the dollar, 50 cents on the dollar, whatever it is, you can literally go to Zillow. And if it's above $250,000, I like offering 50%. And the way that I would do that, and let me give you three ranges, okay? 250 and above, 50%.
Okay.
All right. 250 and between 250 and 100,000, I'm at 35%, and below 100,000, 10%. So it just depends on where people are listening. If you're in Phoenix, you're going to be at 250 and above. All right. So 250 and above, I like saying, listen, I'm just looking around, and it looks like your neighbors that are similar size, similar condition are selling for this price, 50% on the dollar. I don't say I can give you 50%. I can say your neighbors in similar condition. You can look within a mile radius and without a doubt find sales that are at 50% of that Zillow price in that area.
Can you explain why you do that?
So I do that because I'm making an offer but not making an offer. Because if they're like, if they get really, really offended by it and shut it down, then it shuts out all creative options, shuts down all rapport, right? They get offended, they hang up, and now you're done, right? But if I do a softball approach to it and I say, hey, listen, it looks like your neighbors in similar conditions, similar size are selling for this price, then they're like, oh, okay. Either they're like, oh, they're crazy. I would never sell for that. I need at least this. Or they go, yeah, that sounds about right.
It's like, don't kill the messenger. It's like,
Right.
I'm just saying, like,
Right.
and on the other end of that, I do that with the ARV. I'm like, okay, with all the bells and whistles, the stainless steel, it's 400,000. Is your house? Where are you at in that? You know, it kind of
what would
helps
sell
put
for?
them put it in their own
Right,
brain.
right.
You know.
Yep.
Cool.
So all of that being said, don't be afraid to make the offer, no
that's
matter
it.
what it is. You just got to make that offer because you want to know exactly where you're at. You'll never get a deal if you never make an offer.
That's it. Well, and we were talking before about confidence, right? And confidence comes from the education. Confidence comes from experience. And a lot of people think it's like education plus action equals results. And that's totally the wrong way to look at it. It is the action plus the results is your education. You know what I mean? That's the way to flip that. Because listen, if you start the day intentionally, you have intention to go out and build your business. You have intention to go find a deal. And then the outcome of the day is you found a deal. Well, the in-between part is you have to do something. You have to take that massive imperfect action to be able to get the outcome. So you can have as much intention as you want. You can have as much goals, and you can pump yourself up, and you can do your affirmations, and you can throw your fists in the mirror and listen to Tony Robbins and Gary Vee and everybody, and you're totally hyped up. But without taking the massive imperfect action, without having conversations and making offers, there's no outcome. So just do the middle part. Just do the middle part. Have the conversations, make the offers.
So I know one of the things when I got started, and I'm sure with Mike too, is that finding that person that can give you that added confidence, you know, that mentor, that teacher, that educator, or somebody like that. Talk about how important that is when getting started.
That's number one, right? So you've made the decision. At some point you read something, you've been around people, you saw a post, something has inspired you to be a real estate entrepreneur. Whether you're building a portfolio, you're flipping, you're doing wholesale, whatever it is, right? Your first step is you got to find your tribe. You got to find your tribe. You cannot be on an island by yourself out there. You got to go to the RIAs. You got to find some groups online. You got to get a coach or coaching or mentorship. You got to find some people that are going to be your tribe, because everything is already figured out. Everything.
Right.
There's everything that you want is in somebody else's brain and in somebody else's experience already. So you just got to find that. Step number one is find your tribe. You know, we went through the industrial era, right? That was the early 1900s, and that was awesome. And then we went into the information age, the information era. We're in the social era. We are truly in the social era right now. So everything is out there. You could get on Discord, you could go to meetups, you can do all these things, but you have to find your tribe. don't do it by yourself, because if you try to do it by yourself, it's going to take way longer. So that's step number one.
Okay.
Step number two is proof of concept.
Okay.
Proof of concept is do your first deal.
Mhm.
Make $1 from this business.
Yeah.
Make $1,000. Make $10,000 from this business. Make something. Pull something out of the ether that through your efforts and action, you were able to go and provide value to the marketplace, which rewards you with income.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
it.
Yeah, man.
And then from there, you just build the consistency. If you get you have proof of concept, rinse and repeat. Do it consistent until you can fire your boss, right? And then you start building out your company, and then you start firing yourself, and then all of a sudden you've got a cash flowing business that's finding great opportunities.
So is your tribe, is it a mixture? You ever heard of the thirds? Like hang out with people that are behind you for a third at a time. For next third at a time, hang out with people that are same level, so you can accountability and kind of energy and ideas. And the next third is like your mentor, someone has surpassed you.
Yeah.
So it's like your tribe. Do you have a recommendation of like, is it your
Yeah, I
peers
think-
or is it mentors?
I think it's great. I think all of that is
Yeah,
great,
got it,
because you learn a lot if you're coaching and teaching it, right?
Yeah.
And or if you know something and somebody's behind you and they don't understand any
Helps
of it, right?
Sink in.
So then it sinks in for you for
Yeah.
sure. And then seeing what is really pushing yourself and seeing what other people have done, what potential that they've been seeking in their lives and their time that they have on this planet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're around incredible people that are doing incredible things. You're like, wow, there's so much more that I can give to this world.
And you get out of your comfort zone. And I love how you said taking action first, because that's like it changes like the behavior
Yeah.
of building a new habit versus like just being the person watching videos all day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's great,
Yeah.
man.
Well, I'm just you make enough. You have enough conversation. You guys know,
Yeah, man.
without a doubt, you have enough conversations, and you find out the condition, timeline, motivation, price, and you make enough offers. You will make a fortune.
Yeah.
It is. I am guaranteeing it. If you talk to enough people, make enough offers, you will win.
Yep.
So what's the number? Like Robert Kiyosaki used to say, you got to analyze 100 deals to get one good
200.
one. 200 today.
200 conversations
Got it.
for one deal.
Got it. Love it.
Now this is. Let's make sure that we frame this right. This is just going directly to the property owner. These aren't properties that are listed. These aren't referrals coming from agents. This is actual, like, you being proactive and going out and talking to property owners. And it's not rocket science. You could literally drive outside of this office here, go into the neighborhoods, find properties that need renovation, and get all the information you could ever want
Right in front of the
on
house.
an app. In front, you can get their phone number. You could just understand how long they've owned it. You could see how much they owe on it. You could see all of these things, right?
Yeah.
So all the excuses are removed from taking
gone.
massive and perfect action.
So, I mean, that's a great segue. You talk
Yeah.
about excuses, right? And we're going to dive into marketing in a little bit. But
Yeah.
for those people, they look at us, they say, hey, you know what, Brent, you're, spending $10,000 a month. Mike, you're spending 20. Marcus, you're spending 30 or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't have that money. What can I do right now to get out there and find my first deal? Who should I talk to? Because I don't have the money to pull down a list, skip trace, and all of that kind of stuff, or they don't even know anything about that. What should they do right now to go out and try?
Yeah, if you have $0, you could get in a car,
Yep.
right? You could drive around. You could get on a bicycle. You could get on a skateboard. You could walk. I don't care what you got to do. Just get out of your house.
Yep.
Get out of your dark living room. Get out into the sunlight and go find properties that need renovation. And it is just the eye test. We all have these things.
Yeah.
So you go and you look and you find properties that need renovation. And right there you can find all the, if you didn't have any apps, you're not using any tools, you can go to True People Search.
Yep.
You can type in the address and you can get the owner and the phone number. And then you call them up and you ask them if they would consider an offer on their property. That's it.
Simple.
You do that 200 times, and you do that, and you talk to 200 people, you will get a deal.
Love it.
There you go. Simple baseline steps that you could take action on right now. So we can end this podcast right here, and they can get out there and find a deal. And that's what we always want to provide. So guys, no more excuses. Get out there. You hear what Brent's saying.
Yeah, and what about, let's talk about buyers?
Yeah.
Or what, how about this? How about making offers? One thing I like to do is I always say wholesalers are motivated sellers too,
Yes.
at some level. So would
Yep.
you recommend at some point still making that low offer to the wholesaler, even though you know the game?
You certainly can.
Mhm.
Yeah, it just depends on the wholesaler. So you're talking about like somebody gets an email, gets on an email blast from a wholesaler,
because everyone
sees a deal and then offers lower on them.
wholesalers have shitty deals, and I hate those emails.
Oh.
In my head, I'm like, you should still make, at least put your offer out there.
Yeah.
You never know when that wholesaler, if they're new, they're experienced, if their contract's about to expire in 2
Or they
days.
inherit the motivation of the property
owner.
That's
Yep.
what happens when they're not getting buyers for their deals. They start feeling that pressure, right? So 100%.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So many ways.
Yeah.
Because remember, as wholesalers, we made a promise to this seller. Hey, we're going to close this transaction. We're going to get everything done. And if you have buyers that go through there and they're like, nope, can't do it. Now you're like, man, okay, I got to talk to this seller because I made this promise and now I can't fulfill this promise.
Yeah.
And then that wholesaler becomes that motivated seller also.
Yeah.
So
Love it.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
And listen, every deal sells at the right price.
Yep.
So you don't know what that wholesaler got it under contract for. So you can certainly, put out offers for sure.
Yep.
And from there, it's just if you have no money, it's just being proactive, right?
Yeah.
It's just being proactive. There's 3 ways to get leads and to get deals. There's only 3, right? You can buy the conversation, right? You can have people call you through marketing, what you were talking about before. You can wait for them by building up a good reputation with friends, family, real estate agents, other investors that you buy specific properties, or you buy all the properties. You're the big buyer, whatever, and they can refer deals to you, right? Or you can go out and be proactive and just call people and knock on their door and send them some letters or whatever you need to do to be proactive. Text them, see if they would consider an offer on their property. But that's really it. And if you don't have the money to do marketing and you don't have the reputation yet to get referrals, you've got one option. Talk to people.
There you go.
That's it. You got one option. You got to go talk to people. You got to go make those calls.
So what are your thoughts then with the part of no money, reverse wholesaling or co-wholesaling? What are your thoughts? Do you recommend that at all? Do you?
Yeah, because we were talking about the buyer base. Yeah. I mean, listen, there are now companies like the Keighley's and some of these other companies, local companies in different areas that they dispo deals. They have 10 to 20 to 40,000 buyers ready and able. And you take the deal to them and either you split it or you tell them what you want for them and they add on top of it. And so that's a great service in our business. But I would say if I was just starting out, I would go on Facebook. I would go to AZREIA. I would look at who are the admins of AZREIA, and I would DM every single person. Are you one of the admins on your Facebook group? Are you one of the organizers or whatever?
I'm on there. I don't even know, man. Tell you the truth,
Right?
But yeah, so people on the team are, yes,
Sure. But somebody's getting those messages.
Yeah, of course.
And somebody would, and typically, if you go to real estate investing groups in Facebook and you go to the admins and you DM them about a deal, they know everybody.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yep.
They're the admins of groups. They're the ones organizing this whole thing.
Well,
they're hosting the party.
Yeah.
Everyone here at AZREIA is potentially a buyer, right?
That's what I'm saying.
All walks of life, all different strategies. Any real estate, go to any real estate investing Facebook group or meetup. Potentially buyers there. So the buyers they go through cycles, but they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's not the, so go find what they want and serve.
I would go on Zillow and I would look at all the I would type in the zip code. I would look for any properties that are staged that look like flips, and I would call those real estate agents up.
Yeah.
And I would say, "Hey, listen, great job on this flip. I love that cabinet that you picked out. Say something nice about it, so that they think so that they know that you've actually taken it one step further and you're actually looking. You know what I mean? Like you're really doing some work here. A great job on the countertops, great jobs on the floor, great jobs on that textured wall, whatever it is. I've got another great deal that I'd love to put in front of your investor. Can I send it to you?"
And how do you recommend that newer wholesaler to work with that agent? How's that? I don't know what to do today. So, some people are timid from an agent at first, right? Like, so how would they have that conversation?
This is the price that I want. Any commission that you want to add on top of it, go for it.
There you go. Making it so easy,
right?
Right?
And it's just as easy as that.
It really is
easy as that. So even if it's your home market or virtual market or anything like that. So kind of speak on that, Brent. Should you start in your own market or start in the virtual market? Hey, every house in Phoenix is $500,000 and up, but I can find deals in Cleveland for 10 grand. Let me work in Cleveland. What's your position there?
I think that you should start wholesaling where you want to own property.
Okay, good.
I do.
Good.
I think it's important because at some point you can cherry pick the best deals to keep.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
No, 100%.
Yep.
So if you have this whole pipeline of opportunities in a certain market that you want to invest in at some point, you get to just find the 40%, the 50% deals. You can get into these deals, burr out, and be into them with no money into it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I mean? So I think that the real answer is, where do you want to own real estate? And I highly encourage people to own real estate in appreciating areas, because that's how you really win long term. And so if you want to do it virtually, go for it.
Yep.
Just be in an area that appreciates and that you want to own real estate. I think that working in your backyard, there's so much potential, because you could start right now. I mean, so somebody listening to this on their phone could be inspired to go out into the streets right now and go find some properties to door knock. Yep. Go find some properties to write down on a pad of paper. And
hey, I see you guys getting at me for the no paper here.
No, I mean,
I'm listening. Don't worry.
That's how I started out, right? That's how I started. Now you can have Deal Machine apps or Drive for Dollars apps or whatever. There's
Sticky
a ton
notes.
of different ads. A ton of different apps that you can use. They give you all the information. They do all the legwork for like $50 a month. But I'm just trying to keep it as like, if you have 0, and you want to start your journey and invest in these tools based on the income that you make from this business, there's no excuses. Literally no excuses. The only this is the excuse that I get. Well, I don't like talking to strangers. I don't like when strangers call me. I don't like when okay, do you have a budget to have people to call you?
Right.
Do you see deals on the market? Are you willing to talk to real estate agents and make offers on some deals that you see sitting on the market? Like, you got to talk to somebody at some point. That's the whole business.
And you know what's amazing? Remember, they said Keegley, Hunter. Remember Hunter? I remember when he first started.
It was all DMs.
All texts and DMs. Like his first whatever amount of amazing deals he did. It was all through text. So there's still, once again, no excuses, right? But he was playing the middle. Yeah. But like, so the wholesaler title, I'm sure that everyone else was talking at some level. But he got it done, man. Resourcefulness.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's conversations. It's just over
still
text.
Conversation. Yep.
It's just over text, and they built it to sell other people's deals.
Yeah.
Right.
So it all boils down to 3 words, right? Talk to people. That's it. That's what you need to do.
But when I first saw you do that, man, or I saw your shirt, and I was like, "What's that?" And it's like, talk to people. I'm like, every time I'm like, you say it every day, like especially when you're helping new people or wholesale, you're like, yo, just go and talk to people. Just go and talk. It was like so right in your face. You're like, why didn't I think of that? Yeah. It's like, that's amazing, man. I love that.
So Brent, what else you got coming up, man? What are you doing now? Tell us a little bit about Wholesale Inc. and what that community is doing also. Yeah,
so our wholesaling business, we'll crack about 1.8 million this year here locally.
Great.
We're on track for that. We're now in the end of December, and so we'll close that by the end of the year. The push of the wholesaling business is get to $1 million a month in wholesale deals. So this is a 5-10 year project. You know what I mean? I've got patience with it, but it also, you really need the right team. You really need talent, and that's what's the pacing item of growing that. It's not the marketing, it's not understanding deals, it's not the economy or the market. There's wholesale deals in any market, anytime. And so it's just finding the right people there. And then with Wholesaling Inc., we teach people how to wholesale their first deals and how to grow an actual business. Right. So what we were talking about, from getting your tribe, proof of concept, get your first deal, get consistent so that you can fire your boss, and then start firing yourself from each role, and then when you've got this machine going, that's when I think that you should be cherry picking the best deals. Because you guys know as well as I do, wholesale business is different than rental business, which is different than flipping business. Those are 3 different businesses, and I think it is a huge. You have to have a huge ego to think that you can split yourself into thirds and run all 3 of those and be wildly successful in a short amount of time. But if you build one, you put the people in place to run like I have. In my wholesaling business, I do a 3-hour lead audit with my operator, Jackie, every week. And then I have a 2-hour team meeting on Fridays. And that's it. That's my involvement in the company. Wow. And it's run by, I'm not going on the appointments. I'm not negotiating the terms for marketing.
What's your team look like? Yeah, just give us an idea.
So with that, you can get to $2 million with 4 people.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I've got a lead manager, Jackie, who's also the operator.
What do they do?
So Jackie she keeps everything organized with the marketing and just making sure that the top of the funnel with our leads is full.
Got it.
That's it. Then it goes in and it goes to a junior acquisition manager. And that's Chad Coulter. And he's phenomenal. He stays on the phone all day long. Yeah. And his job is shortening the timeline to make a decision for the property owner to sell their property. Okay. He's just warming up those leads. And then we have a closer, Ryan Thornton, who goes out on the appointments and closes those deals. And so I believe that somebody should always be on the phones in the office and somebody should always be out in the streets.
Got it.
Because when they do both, it gets crazy. Your leads start slipping through the cracks because then, they have a busy week. They have 5, 6, 7, 8 appointments. And then all of a sudden they're not doing the lead follow-up.
Because they're looking at those appointments. Hey, this is the closer for me to get
priority.
To a check. Yeah.
Are you noticing more contracts getting closed over the phone versus personal? What do you prefer? Personal always.
Yeah. You get 30% more.
Okay.
In my business, if you look at the ones that we do over the phone, they're in Yuma, they're in Tucson, they're in somewhere where we can't get there, but we want to lock it up. We make 30% less profit on those.
Wow.
When we go in person, we get better deals by far.
Great.
And then the 4th person is Jeremy Thornburg, and he's my disposition manager.
Got
All day he's building the pipeline of buyers. He's selling the deals. He's negotiating them. So his job is to make sure that we get the most out of every deal.
And you're spot on with that, Brent. And that's kind of what I see is you really only need 4 people, to run $1 million wholesale company. Yeah. That's all you need.
I think you can get to 2 million.
Yeah.
With it, as long as your average, we have found our average deal size is 25K. So if you're in smaller markets, you're going to probably need more people because you're going to have more leads because if you're averaging 10 or 15,000 a deal, you're going to need more people. There's just only there's 52 to 60 hand calls a day, hand dialed calls a day is about the limit of your acquisition managers per day.
Got it.
Okay.
Anything more than that, they get totally burnt out. Especially if you're like pushing you call 80 people a day type of thing. They're just like, you see like the afternoon, their calls just get terrible. So that's the metrics that I look at is, okay, how many leads do we have coming in, and can we make sure we're making 50 to 60 calls a day for follow-up? And if it gets above that, I'll bring in more junior acquisitions and then more acquisitions team.
So what about low-hanging fruit versus follow-up? What's the ratio? Is there like a ratio there?
It's all follow-up.
Exactly.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, you just gotta let people know.
No, it's really important.
Yeah, it is. It's
to
huge.
Say that because the lay downs, hey, come by my house right now type of thing is rare. It's like once a quarter. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and we do a lot.
Yeah.
You're talking about marketing. I mean, we're now getting to the point where we just started TV about 6 months ago, so that's starting to. But that's a big cost.
Big budget.
Pay per click, we're at like $30,000 a month, $35,000 a month there. We've got cold callers that do phenomenal work that are about 8 to 10K a month. No, 8K a month. Maybe less than that. But with skip tracing and everything, it's probably about that. So our marketing budget's like 60, 70,000, right? A month. And so, but, and then you're looking to get, you want it to be a 1-to-4 ratio.
Yep.
So if we put 60K in, I want to get 240 out every month. Put 70K in, you do the math type of thing. So if you're wondering what kind of metrics to look at with your marketing. 1 to 4 is the sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
If you do better than that, it's awesome.
Yep.
But if you do worse than that, you got to make some changes.
So every dollar in, you want 4 out.
That's it.
Yep.
Because if you can keep your marketing at 25% and your operations and staff at about 25 to 40%, then you're sitting there at 35-40% business,
Yep.
which is incredible.
Can you
Absolutely incredible.
touch on, because a lot of new people, like, that's what they're, what should I do? You know, PPC or cold calling? They ask you all these things.
Yeah.
And a lot of people want to jump into PPC because that's what they're hearing. So
Yeah.
can you explain how important it is to have a professional or to understand, just
Oh my
talk
gosh.
about that? Yeah.
Well, I think all roads lead to pay-per-click.
Okay.
I do. Once you can build a marketing budget. But unless you are like a Google certified pay-per-click wizard, you will just be burning your money.
Yeah.
You will absolutely be burning your money. So there's great agencies that do a good job with that. Typically they're going to cost $2,500 to $3,000 just for the agency, and then you can expect to spend at least $10,000 on top of that in major markets. Minimum.
So you gotta get some
of
deals
the smaller
done.
market, yeah. Yeah.
And another part of that is going back to the foundation of, like, you know, even if you have that money, if you don't know how to follow up or comp property, you can't convert deals.
Yeah.
You're gonna be still throwing that money away.
Well, yeah, and I don't want people to be turned off. Like I did my first $1 million in wholesale with an accordion binder, right? That had 1 through 31, all the days of the month, and January through December. And it would be November 26th. I would pull out my lead sheet, and it would just be written lead sheet, and I would just do my lead follow-up.
There you go.
And I would literally just drive the neighborhoods, write down all the addresses of the ugly houses, and just call them. And then if they said that they would consider an offer, they went on a lead sheet. And then I'd follow up with them.
There you
go
go.
on the appointment. And then I get it closed. And I had zero budget here. You know what I mean? It was really, really, really low budget to be able to do that. I think that those accordion binders cost me like $30.
Right.
combined.
That's amazing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you don't have it. Like, we're talking big numbers and marketing and all that. You start out earning it. You start out, like, you don't just throw your budget at it because you don't know how to convert the deals.
Yeah.
So there's really, and this is any, whether you want to do the wholesaling, the buy and hold, and the flips. There's really 3 parts: lead generation, conversion, and exit strategy. That's it.
Yeah.
So the lead generation is getting these leads coming in. The conversion part is all about pre-qualifying, lead follow-up, and your offer, your offer presentation. So if you can just get really good at making sure that you understand those 4 pillars: the condition, timeline, motivation, price. You take the Nike slogan of lead follow-up and just do it.
Just do it.
Simple as that.
Because it would be it is shocking, and you guys know this as well as I do, how many people have no problem getting the leads but won't do follow-up
I'll do it.
because they're so scared that they'll tell them no.
Yep.
But they hold on to these leads and they're like, "Oh, I've got so many leads.
So many leads.
Oh, I'm really cooking here," right? So you pre-qualify, you do your lead follow-up, and then you do an offer presentation, and you get the deals.
Love it.
And then
man.
from there, you just decide what your exit strategy is.
Yeah.
Any tips on follow up? Just kind of maybe dive a little deeper, like what your team does.
Yeah, so there's hot, warm, and cold leads.
Okay.
A hot lead is somebody that has made, well, first of all, let's talk about what a lead is.
There you go. Good point.
A lead is somebody that has made the decision they're going to sell their property.
Brent, I want to sell.
That's it.
All right,
Yeah.
got it.
That is a lead.
Not the.
You will not convince anybody of anything, really, and especially not to sell their property if they don't want to
Exactly.
already. We are deal finders. We're not deal creators. That took me a long time to figure that out. We're deal finders, not deal creators. Just because you're having a good conversation with the property owner doesn't mean they're a lead.
Got it.
It just means they're an expressive personality.
Right.
And they're
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
So, so a lead is somebody that has made the decision that they're going to sell their property. Now, how fast? Is it a hot lead? Is it somebody that's going to make a decision in the next week or two? Is it a warm lead, somebody that's 30 days out or longer? Or is it a cold lead that, they need 90 days or more to be able to do this? They're going through a probate, right? they inherited a property and they need to clear things out. They've got tenants until a certain amount of time. They don't want to sell it before the tenants are out. There's a ton of different reasons.
Yeah.
They don't want to sell it until they come into town, and you can't be, there's nothing that you can say to get them to sell it before that. So there's certain cold leads, that we follow up with, but you want to stay focused on the hot, the ones that are ready to sell right now. And you find what you're looking for. So if you're looking for people that are going to sell in the next couple of weeks, you're going to find people that are going to sell in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. One of the things that I've been looking at with a different lens and a different diagram on now is, people always say wholesaling is a marketing business.
Yeah.
Right. That's one of the things that everybody say. Wholesaling is a marketing business. It's a marketing business. It's a marketing business. That's true to a point.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, it's a service business. It's more service oriented because once that marketing works, you have these people calling you. And we're looking, like Mike always says, we're looking to find problems, not properties.
Yep.
And what comes along with those problems is being a service provider and trying to help them through this problem. So the problem may take them 6 months, may take them 2 weeks, may take them 3 months. But as a service provider, you got to be patient and work with them and educate them along the way. And I see a lot of wholesalers miss that, drop the ball in that aspect because they say, okay, this person want to sell, they want to make the offer, and now they want to push this seller. Hey, you know what? Let's close, and then that'll shy some sellers away. So I don't even know where I was going with that.
Yeah, we're listening. You got our attention.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right. It's not just about finding the deal.
Yep.
It's providing the convenience. So I look at this, and there's speed, convenience, and price, right? It's like working with contractors. You get
the two,
speed, quality, or price, and you only get to pick two
Yeah.
out of the three, right? So speed, convenience, and price. Well, we offer speed and convenience. For that, they have to work with our price. Right?
Yeah.
And so that's the whole difference. It's like when you buy a new car and you go to the dealership and they're like, hey, can we make you an offer on your car? And you're like, I know what Kelly Blue Book is. I know that there's some tears in my seats and I need some new tires and I need it to get detailed and I need to get that, kid stink out of the back and all these. I can do all those things to get full market value. Now I'll just take your offer. Just take it.
Yep.
Speed and convenience. People do that with properties. People do that because they just want to be done with these properties. And so that's where the service comes in. Yes, we can give you this offer, but how do you get it through the finish line with the most convenience as possible? That's what you're talking about.
Thank you.
And when the homeowner sees that, or you're like, here, use this piece of information or call this attorney, or you're bringing that's what's also building that rapport. That's who they're potentially going to stick with 3 months down the road, 4 months down the road, and do the deal with you. So yeah, for sure.
We have a deal right up here on
let's talk deals.
Desert Cove, and it's a situation where the owner of the property's sister moved in there years ago, was paying rent, then decided not to pay rent about 3 years ago.
Nice.
Then started getting into some
she's still there.
interesting groups and bringing a lot of people in and drugs got involved. And now it's like, hey, listen, I don't want to deal with the eviction. I don't want to deal with her. I don't want to deal with any of this. I've tried helping her for the last 3 years. Nothing's happened. I just want to get rid of this property. Right.
Yep.
And so we step in, we buy the property, close on it. And now we're in the process of working with the sister to move on somewhere else, right? That's what we're talking about.
Yep.
We're not talking about beautiful houses that are fully renovated that people should just go put on the market. We're talking about the 6 to 10%, statistically speaking, from the U.S. Census of properties that are in distress at all times. These are motivated property owners. These are people that, because of financial motivations, because of emotional motivations, or just the condition of their property is their motivation, they want to sell and they want speed and convenience.
There you go.
And what we do is we step in, we do those things.
I love it.
Yep.
Don't wanters, Robert Allen. They don't want the house.
They don't want it.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's that. I didn't know that stat. That's great.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Man, Desert Cove. You're on the west side. You bought it. So let's talk about. So you bought it, right? So you say you're working on it for 3 years. Once again, follow up, right? And
I haven't been working on it for 3 years. The tenant has been in there 3 years.
Oh, got it.
Not paying.
Right.
Got it. Okay, sorry.
We just talked to this person a month ago.
Got it. So
owner.
that's another way of wholesaling, though, right? As you grow and you become more experienced and you got the relationships, so you took down the property,
Yeah.
and it's still a wholesale deal.
Yeah. Well, technically it's a flip, but in
you're
our
not-
mind, it's a wholesale.
Yeah, you're still putting it back on the market at a wholesale price, unless you're going to fix it up.
Yes.
Got
no.
it. Got
no,
it.
no.
Yeah.
We're still going to sell it to our cash buyer.
So I used to love those. I remember when you're around experienced investors, when you're out there wholesaling, experienced investor will, if you're feeding them deals, they'll bring opportunities to you. Like I remember how it happened for me. They were like, "Want to just take this down?" And they pay you, like, give them your price, or maybe you can pay a little. You still get paid upfront, maybe less. They'll keep you in the deal. They'll clean it out, just get a dumpster, and then you still wholesale it out, and they let you disposition it.
Yep.
There's so many ways to make money, man.
Well, if we deal with if we go through the process of eviction or we get it vacant, we can clean it out and then we can take pictures and then we can put it out there. We're going to get more for it.
Yeah. Oh,
We're going to get more for it.
Why is that okay, we know how much a clean out is, right? A couple dumpsters, few grand, I get it. Even the flipper, even though they always have that vision, sometimes when it's not cleaned out versus when it is cleaned out, you get that extra margin as a wholesaler when you're like, why didn't you like it before? It's just a haul out.
Right.
Do you ever notice that? Am I tripping?
100%.
Like, I don't get it. I just don't understand why
It's
the
the
flipper
problem.
I guess
more of a problem.
more money, more energy, I guess.
Well, it slows down their process.
Yeah.
If the property's vacant, if it's vacant and it's cleaned
broom
out,
ready, and
then they can just get their crew in and start tearing it up.
that's funny, man.
Yep.
So many ways.
Yeah.
Love it.
So wrapping up here, Brent, man, thank you again for coming in and speaking with us and shedding a lot of light on wholesaling for the listeners. How can we find you?
Yeah.
How can we get in touch with you?
Man.
Get more information from you.
We put a lot of love and attention on our YouTube channel, Brent Daniels YouTube channel. We go live twice a week there, Mondays with Jamil Damji, Pace Morby, some big names in the industry and incredible guys. We do Wholesale Hotline, that's on Monday, and then Wednesdays I do a live show. I bring on really interesting guests, do some education, do some instruction, give you the tools to go out there and take action. And then wholesalinginc.com.
Love it, man.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Man. I'm good.
Long time.
Yeah, long time,
We ran
man.
into each other at lunch.
Yeah, I was like, oh, man, TTP, you had the shirt on
That's
too.
it.
That was amazing, man. So yeah, thanks for coming around. Really appreciate it. A lot of great information. Like, there's no reason you can't get a deal going.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know how to reach out to Brent if you got a deal. We're here to help too. We'll do deals, especially in your Phoenix, right? So
you guys know exactly what to do. Get out there, take that massive imperfect action, and talk to people.
That's it.
Talk to people. Thank you so much. And feel free to give us a 5-star review. Let us know, let Mike and I know that we're providing the information that you're looking for and that you can use in your industry and your business right now. And always go to AZREIA.org. That's AZREIA.org if you want more information about real estate investing, from fixing and flipping to wholesaling to multifamily to shared living to pad split to anything you want to know, you name it. We even host realtor workshops here also. So go to AZREIA.org. We'll love to have you as a part of the family.
Thanks for listening to the AZREIA Show with your hosts, Marcus Maloney and Mike Delprete. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you found this information valuable, head over to AZREIA.org and learn more about our community.